makeup on.
Well, I know you don't have any makeup on, but that's okay. I'm pretty well used to you. All right, here we are, 1992. But I want to just kind of go back over a couple items that were on the 1991 video. Uh, most people won't care, but Shirley and I do. We mentioned Strick and Kelly visited once, and I couldn't remember that, and I still kind of don't, although I knew Strick had a sister that lived here in Hendersonville. Strick, okay, so I wanted to explain. Strick and Kelly were our friends in Sioux City, Iowa. A couple years before this, we hung out together with them and Wayne and his wife. I can't remember his wife's name. But anyway, we hung out quite a bit together and got to know Strick real well. He worked in the Terra office where I worked, and so did Wayne. We were on the 8th floor, I think, or 7th floor of the 10-story building. Biggest building in Sioux City. It was a big deal job at the time for me. And anyway, so then we moved here, and I guess Strick must have visited his sister, so that's why we got him in there. Okay, we also said one time in the other video, we mentioned we went to a Mario's and had dinner with Mary Borthwick. Well, I didn't go on to explain. Mary Borthwick was an American cyanamide rep, which that company I think sold out to Bayer, but it's possible there was a company in between. I don't remember. Most people don't care. I do, because I just like to remember that stuff. Also, I think Les and Linda went along on that dinner because, honestly, they were closer to Mary than I was. And Les was the manager at Springfield, and I was his boss as the general manager and region manager, I think they called me at the time. So that explains Mary Borthwick and Les and Linda. And then I just mentioned that the light was irritating in that video. I don't know why I wrote that down. I mentioned our Hawaii vacation. I think I remember the details on that because we had points for my flying around when I worked for Terra. I did a lot of traveling. I used to go to the East Coast a lot and see DuPont and American Cyanamide and these major companies that I dealt with for years. It was kind of cool for me. And I used to get a lot of points for flying. So we used those points to go to Hawaii on that vacation. I mentioned that JT and Marion in that other video, they were our neighbors across the street. And I think JT's mother lived there. And I think Shirley looked in on her, and JT and Marion liked it because they knew Shirley was a nurse, and Marion was JT's wife. JT passed away, had a heart condition. He looked really fit, but he had a bad heart. I mentioned Dana, and Dana is Shirley's brother, and I think during this period of 91, 92, I think he was between marriages. I don't think he'd married Angie yet. He married Angie and then divorced, and then he's gotten married to Sarah in the meantime. Okay, let's see. No, I got a question. 1989, moved to Hendersonville. Before that, okay, I think I kind of talked about Sioux City real briefly, and we might do that on another video just from memory because we didn't have any calendars really at that time. I mentioned Brad and Billy and Jimmy. Brad's best friends were Billy and Jimmy. Jimmy still lives here in town, and Billy lives in Texas, and Shirley's getting bored, it looks like. They're still friends, and they keep in touch. It's interesting with Brad, Billy, and Jimmy. Then in the 1990 tape, I got to mention, I hate that my belly is showing so much, but it is what it is. Okay. On difference in cameras, I wrote notes here. In the 90s, I don't even know what I mean here. I have no idea what that means. Phone different than cameras. Oh, I know. When we did Mom and Dad's videos, we had a regular camera sitting on a tripod, actually, I think. And nowadays, you got to use these cameras as your video machine. You can buy a camera, but why do it? They're in the phones. And then, but I've noticed it's a little bit harder to work with. But I think we really, in the end, get better videos. I mentioned Brad went to space camp and we couldn't figure out who Jeff was. Well, Jeff was the neighbor of mine in Cicero.
Mm-hmm.
And Shirley, when Shirley and I met, it was just funny because they had known my neighbor, and the neighbor's child was named Jeff, and he was a good friend of Brad's. So somehow they got together and went to space camp together. And to be honest with you, we've lost touch with them. So it was a one-time thing. But that's what that was in that Jeff. We didn't know who Jeff was. I got over here a camera, light, flash, move. I don't know what that means. So anyway, let's start out on 1992, and we'll take off. Shirley's got the notes in her calendar book. So what do we got?
Well, it looks like in January I was still doing PRN work at Vanderbilt, and I was working all over the hospital there, and I was working in the recovery room in Hendersonville, probably still PRN. Looks like we went to Howard Johnson in Bowling Green to celebrate New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's right. We did that. Okay, just briefly. We did that with Joe Henry, the guy that I got to know in Springfield because he sold us the property to build the chemical warehouse that I worked in for 15 years, I guess. And so I got to know him and his dad a little bit, mainly him. They had a real estate business in Springfield. And then I got to know Bentley Parrish because he was a good friend of Joe Henry's. And Bentley was married to Chi-Chi, who ended up being our secretary at the warehouse in Springfield, and she ran the office basically. And so anyway, us three couples went to Bowling Green. Joe Henry kind of put it all together. He was kind of big on doing stuff like that. And we all got 3 motel rooms, and we had so we didn't have to drive. And I guess it was Howard Johnson's. I don't even remember that specifically, but I had a good time. Did you have a good time?
I'm sure I did.
Joe Henry hid a bottle of champagne in our room, and he says, "Oh, you'll never find it. You'll never find it. Go look in your room. I hid something for you." And I think within a minute and a half, I found the bottle of champagne hid in the toilet top, where the water is. It wasn't that hard to find. I mean, not that many places to hide stuff in a motel room. So found it. Okay, Shirley, take off. What else we got?
Okay, it looks like in February of '92 we went to Florida from the 7th to the 10th.
Of February? Well, we went to Florida. I wonder what part of Florida.
I got Florida.
I don't remember. Usually we went to the Destin area, and that would be relatively chilly that time of year. Maybe we did. We liked that area. I just don't remember going down to Central Florida at all. But that's funny that we went that late or that early in the year.
Let's see. And
Usually
then,
went in spring and fall.
Then that looks like that was it for January. On the 1st, it was Mary Jane's birthday, 1st of February.
Mm-hmm. She was still getting along then.
And Keith's birthday is what, the 9th?
Yep.
And then my dad's birthday is the 10th.
So they were real close together.
Yeah, kind of interesting, all those right close together. Then I've got back here that we went on a cruise the 23rd through the 28th.
Maybe was it March?
Yeah, February.
Really?
Cruise.
We went on 2 or 3 cruises in the 90s. I don't know which one this was, but we a lot of times we were doing trips with Frank, the guy that sold us tobacco regulator. It was to get the bowl, or not the bowls, but the shoots off of tobacco so you'd have a good tobacco plant and grow better leaves. And Frank was an expert of that in North Carolina, and he sold us several trucks. Small company. He was a small company. We were a large company. And but he, he entertained. He liked to take people on trips. And his wife was a travel agent and did cruises. So we went on 2-3 cruises in the 90s. I think he paid for 1 or 2 of them. So.
Looks here, I've got on the 19th of February, I've got Cricket's last day.
Oh, so Cricket died?
Yeah, I guess on February 19th.
Cricket, our dog that was Risley's daughter. We got in touch with somebody that knew Afghans. I don't know but it had to do with Risley. I don't know how we did it. I don't know why we did it.
I think we let him stud.
Oh, that's right. We let Risley stud.
And we got one of the litter,
puppies.
which was Cricket.
Yeah, there you go. And she died early, within a couple of years or something.
Yeah, she wasn't very old. She had some kind of disease.
Some kind of dog disease. And
wiped her right out. She didn't get to be very old.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years at the most.
Okay.
Nice dog. It was fun watching the 2 of them together, laying together and stuff on the rug. They took up the whole front room.
And then I don't see anything else that month. I don't think we did anything.
Okay.
Okay, and I was still working. Looks like I was working between Hendersonville and Vanderbilt, working nights. Spring break. Jim. I saw something here.
Is that Jim and Brenda?
Yeah. They're going to come down that time of year, I don't think. Okay. All right, so now we go into March. My friend Judy's birthday was March 4th. She lives up in New England now.
We saw her last year when we went on a cruise.
Okay. Angie's birthday. Dana's ex-wife.
Dana's
March
second wife. Dana's been married 3 times.
Yeah.
Finally got a good one.
Yeah, got a rich one. Let's see. Nothing there. I guess we weren't doing a heck of a lot. Mom and Dad. March must not have been a very busy month. Make sure we didn't take any trips there. March, yeah, big 0. Okay. Kids' spring break. I've got a note here. Let's see. Green and Leona here. They must have come by. That's my Uncle Green and my dad's brother and his wife.
They lived in Arizona and they maybe had an RV or somehow. I remember them coming a little bit. I don't remember a lot.
Green, you're thinking of somebody else. I don't.
All right, whatever. I'm
That's
just
Dylan.
one of her uncles.
Anyway, his name was Green Holland.
All right.
I got that we went on a cruise in February.
Well, we already did that.
We did that one. Okay, we're into March. Now we're into April.
Yeah.
A lot of still working at Vanderbilt and Hendersonville. Skeleton board. A lot of notes, just me working. Okay. What's that?
Funeral or something.
Oh, look, funeral.
Maybe somebody went to a funeral, Brad. Went to a funeral. It's not his.
Anyway, let's see.
Go on to that.
I just got let's see.
This little something. Don't worry about it. We got too long of breaks here. We need to read and see if it hits us.
Okay, in June, I had down that we went to a cruise in February and went to Indiana for Easter. And then in June, we went on a, don't have my glasses on, that does not help. On, we went to Florida,
Okay.
June 7th.
You needed to have your glasses on.
Stop it and put them on.
I can't really stop it. Then we have a second tape.
Okay.
Well, maybe I can. I don't know.
It looks like on June 8th, we went to Crystal Villas
Crystal
in
Villas.
Florida.
Oh, that would be in the Destin area. Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed there. That was the first time we went. We were real taken with it. We stayed there on that beach and everything. That was the first time that we stayed in that area.
Okay. It was, one of our first condo experiences, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Destin, we like, we've been all over that Destin Gulf Shores area.
Okay, so this is when Brad went to, during the summer, Brad went to see Tom.
What else, summer?
I don't know. I'd have to see as we go, but I don't know. He left the first part of June.
He spent a lot of time with his dad there early on.
Brad on the 14th, he went up there.
Right.
You went to Montgomery.
Good old Montgomery. And must have been a sales meeting of some type or a manager's meeting.
Mom and Dad, maybe they came in then for a while.
You're gonna have to not go back and forth. You're gonna have to guess.
July, I've got, I must have gone to Rhode Island in July.
Now, you did that on your own last year.
Well, I went twice.
You went to Rhode Island twice?
Yeah. I went
In
up
2
there twice.
years?
No.
I don't remember that.
I got Rhode Island.
All right, let's move on.
I think we need to...
we talked about Rhode Island last time. Just real briefly, I think we talked about Rhode Island in the last tape, but she went to visit her friend Judy.
Yeah, I took 2 trips up there.
And they went all over Rhode Island and Newport,
New England,
and New England area, and Judy showed her all around. And then we saw Judy just last year when we went to Maine. Judy, I think, moved from Rhode Island to Maine. She did.
Okay. This is July. 9 a.m. Donnie.
I'm going to go get Shirley's glasses. Just keep rolling. You keep reading stuff.
All right.
Because I don't want to stop it. It may pause. I'm not sure. Probably does.
Okay, let's see here. I've got okay, it looks like on July the 12th, that must have been, maybe that was my trip to Rhode Island, because I've got Nashville to St. Louis to Boston. So that was when I went up to Rhode Island, July the 12th, to visit with Judy.
Anything interesting that I should talk about?
Okay, no.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I was in, that will help to have my glasses.
Means I didn't miss anything then.
Okay, so.
It's going. We're going to get too boring.
Okay. I was in Rhode Island the 13th, and I came back to here on the 15th, maybe? I don't know. Something like it. Anyway, fine. I went up there to visit her.
Moving on.
Crook and Chase. Did we go to see Crook and Chase?
We might have saw Crook and Chase at some show like at Opryland.
6 p.m.
Or we might have saw them at the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, I kind of remember that, but not exactly. So, yeah.
Okay, here we got July the 25th. We went to Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, that was a bit. Okay, that trip happened because when we went to Hawaii, they bumped us on the airplane, and we could have, and we stayed all night on their expense at a hotel in San Francisco, I think, or Los Angeles, I'm not sure. I think it's San Francisco. And because of that, they gave us free tickets, in that we used the next year. And that's the trip that we took the boys to Arizona, because we had free tickets, and we stayed in Scottsdale, and we went for a horse ride, which I thought was great. Jason wasn't so crazy about it, I heard later. And then we drove up to where the Painted Rocks are, or not, Sedona, Arizona, and we got pictures of the boys up on the rocks and stuff, and then we went on up to Grand Canyon. I think it was our tour of Arizona on that trip. Do you remember anything else about it?
Not really. We weren't there very long. We were there from Saturday the 25th to Wednesday the 29th, so we probably squished a lot of stuff in. That was a short trip.
I remember the horseback ride, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it anyway. You had a slow horse, which is what you
appropriate for me.
Yeah.
Okay, in August.
We didn't go fast, which I don't do fast, especially now. Jason something. Oh, I don't know.
What's Williver's? Does that mean anything to you?
Welliver's. Well, Chuck Welliver, but I don't remember him visiting. Chuck was a friend of mine from ADI, and we've been in touch over the years several times. And we were in the early 90s. He was still working at Terra, and I was a Terra, but he was an Indiana Terra, and I was a Tennessee Terra. I don't know. I don't remember him stopping in, to be honest with you, but might have.
Down here I got John to OH and Jason to Cruise. Don't know what that is. And I had a migraine. Did he?
I can't remember you and Brad going on a cruise with your mom and dad sometime during the 90s. I don't remember Jason on a cruise, although it's ringing a bell. Maybe Jason would obviously remember. I don't remember.
Maybe his birthday. McCluskey.
Where are we at? We're at 22 minutes. The last tape was 18 or so.
Okay, here we've got Dale Hollow.
Dale Hollow, who with?
Sulphur Creek.
It's either Wes and Patty or Jim and Brenda.
I don't think it's probably Wes and Patty.
Okay.
I don't even remember.
We went to 2 or 3 trips to Dale Hollow, and I think we went on one trip with Wes and Patty, who were friends of Shirley's from Cicero, and I think they came down in an RV, I think, and then we all went to Dale Hollow. I think that's the trip that I had Joe Henry's stand-up jet ski, and we got a houseboat, and that's about all I remember. It was a nice time. Dale Hollow's a beautiful lake, real clear water and all that. Her ex-husband Tom's I think he's got property up there or something. He goes all the time.
Let's see here. We went to dinner at the New Orleans house. You remember the New Orleans?
Doesn't say who with. It was a good chance in September. I don't know. I'll tell you, we went to New Orleans house 2 or 3 times, and there were kind of a chain of seafood restaurants. They were upscale, but the big thing was they were buffet, I think. But they always came and brought you lobster tails and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was a chemical thing. One of the chemical companies, I don't know which one. Could have been CB I don't know. Jerry at CB he took us a lot of places, but 2 or 3 others took us places. Jeff from the company that sold to the other company. Great time, because we'd have a big table and we'd have 10 or maybe 15 people from work, and I don't know whether they came from Kentucky or whether it was just the Tennessee people, but we had great times and great food. It was great seafood buffet style. It wasn't cheap. It was good.
Jeez, and June.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to
Okay.
ignore those.
Okay, that was September, and October is the first time I really see anything. I got John's family here on October the 25th.
Yeah, and
Don't even know who that
and
was.
this is we're in '92, so Mom still had 3 years, and she came down with Dad 2 or 3 times down here, and one time we got her a place at a bed and breakfast. Her and Dad. I suppose sometimes they stayed here, although we didn't really have room. Before we expanded the house, we only had 3 bedrooms, and the boys had a bedroom each, and Shirley and I had one. So I don't know. I don't know where they stayed, where people stayed at. I don't know where your mom and dad stayed at when they came down.
November
Do you remember where people stayed at with all the bedrooms full?
I don't know if we put a kid on the couch or.
Maybe we put somebody
We
on the
did.
couch and then put them in one of the kids' rooms.
Well, it looks like for November I've got a cruise from the 20th to the 23rd.
Like I say,
Does
we
that
went
ring a
on
bell
two.
with
We went
you?
on 2 or 3 cruises. I think 2 with Frank,
Return
the
trip.
tobacco guy. I think we did 2. I don't know, in the same year. I don't
I
know.
just got tripped down, so but we
All right.
no indication where
It
we
was if it was a cruise, it was.
short one.
One cruise I did was from a seed corn thing, and it was kind of shaky, I guess. One of my salesmen over in East Tennessee, Joe, did most of the seed corn sales, and I took that as a manager. I took the trip, and he didn't get to go. So, you know, the perks. There you go. He wasn't happy, I'm sure.
Other than that, we get into December, and the only thing I have down here is we went to Indiana at Christmas. There was
Where we stay? Where we go?
I haven't gotten that far, but we went John's party at Opryland.
John's party at Opryland.
Must have been some kind of a Christmas party.
Yeah. One year we had, we did an Opryland thing, and what I remember was a little different about it was, and I think we had buffets and all the chemical guys. I mean, it was, and we may have had 2 or 3 chemical companies that chipped in for it and came along, and they did Christmas shows at Opryland back in those days. You remember those big Christmas shows?
Mm-hmm.
And so they'd have a show, dancing and Santa Claus stuff and jingle bells and all that. But what I remember was the guy from Montgomery, not Bill, but the other guy, Val Ivy, came up with his wife. That's when we met Val's wife, and I think they divorced later on. But anyway, it's just interesting that somebody came up from Montgomery like that. It was, I had a great 8 years running that Terra thing, and we just had a lot of experiences. We really did.
I've got down here that on Friday the 18th, JT gone. I wonder if that's when he died in 92.
It could be. Our neighbor JT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like we just shuffled bread back and forth because I got bread picked up by Tom day after Christmas. We must have gone to Joyce and Ed's. And
There you go.
that's it.
That's the end of '92. That was a long one.